At 11:39 p.m. on April 14, 1912, the Titanic was running at 21 knots through a flat, black Atlantic. No moon, no wind. The sea was a mirror, the largest moving object ever built, slicing through water so still that no wave broke against the base of any iceberg that lay ahead. And ahead, one did. This disaster was not born when Lookout Frederick Fleet rang the warning bell 3 times. It was born hours earlier by a single decision made on a quiet Sunday afternoon that nobody on that bridge ever thought to reverse. 4 days earlier, Titanic had departed Southampton on her maiden voyage. Pride of the White Star Line, 46,000 tons, 882 feet long, practically unsinkable. Also aboard was J. Bruce Ismay, chairman of the White Star Line, a man deeply invested in what this ship could achieve. By the third day, Titanic had covered 546 miles in a single 24-hour period, her best run yet. 21 of her 29 boilers were lit. 3 more were being brought online. New York expected them Tuesday morning. A fast maiden crossing would be front-page news around the world. But Sunday, April 14th, brought warnings. Not one, but a cascade. At 9 a.m., the Caronia reported bergs and field ice directly on Titanic's route. Captain Smith acknowledged receipt. At 1:42 p.m., the Baltic warned of icebergs within 5 miles of the intended trek. Smith took this message, then handed it to Bruce Ismay, who pocketed it instead of returning it to the bridge. At 1:45 p.m., the Amerika reported 2 large icebergs. The message was being relayed through Titanic's own wireless room, yet was never carried to the bridge. At 7:30 p.m., the Californian transmitted coordinates of 3 large bergs 5 miles to the south. The bridge received this one. At 9:40 p.m., the Mesaba sent the most urgent warning of all: heavy pack ice and a great number of large icebergs dead ahead. It never left the wireless room. Jack Phillips, the senior Marconi operator, was buried under passenger telegrams to Cape Race. He set the warning aside and forgot. By 9:30 p.m., Captain Smith joined Second Officer Charles Littler on the bridge. The night was exceptionally clear. No haze, no cloud. Smith uttered the words that would frame everything that followed. If it becomes at all doubtful, let me know at once. I will be just inside. Then he retired to his cabin. He left behind no order to reduce speed, no order to alter course, no order to wake him when the ship entered the ice region. Littler did instruct the lookouts to keep a sharp watch for ice, especially small ice and growlers. But growlers, low-lying, weathered bergs, are virtually invisible on a moonless night against a flat black sea, and the lookouts had no binoculars. At 10 p.m., Littler handed the watch to First Officer William Murdoch with a quiet observation: "We may be up around the ice any time now." Murdoch nodded. The ship steamed on. The engines never slowed. This was no accident of negligence. It was a decision, actively made, continuously reaffirmed by every mile the ship covered without slowing. Captain Smith had commanded vessels for 32 years. He understood exactly what those ice warnings represented. He knew the conditions: a moonless night, a flat calm, a sea so still that no breaking surf would betray an iceberg's position. And yet, at no point on April 14th did he order a speed reduction. Why? The great Atlantic liners prided themselves on keeping schedule, no matter the conditions. To arrive late was professional disgrace. The White Star Line did not build the Titanic to crawl. And there was Bruce Ismay, dining below, a man known to press his captains for record crossings. But the decision was Smith's alone. He chose to trust in the clarity of the night and the sharpness of youthful eyes in the crow's nest. He chose speed over caution. He bet a 46,000-ton ship carrying 2,200 souls that he would see the ice before the ice saw him. And once the Titanic crossed into that ice field at 21 knots, the bet could not be unwound. At 11:39 p.m., lookout Frederick Fleet saw something, a black silhouette where none belonged. He rang the crow's nest bell 3 times and grabbed the telephone. Iceberg, right ahead. First Officer Murdoch ordered the helm hard over and the engines full astern. But at 21 knots, Titanic was consuming distance faster than any ship of her size could possibly turn, from sighting to impact. 37 seconds. The berg scraped the starboard side, opening slits below the waterline across 6 compartments. The ship was built to survive 4. Within 2 hours and 40 minutes, she was gone. 1,496 people died in water barely above freezing. Both the American and British inquiries reached the same conclusion. The speed was excessive. The warnings were clear. The response was not. At half speed, even 2/3, the iceberg might have been spotted sooner. The impact survivable. The margin between a near miss and catastrophe was not luck. It was the decision to proceed at full speed into known danger. History remembers the Titanic as a story of hubris, an unsinkable ship brought low by an immovable force. But that framing makes the tragedy feel inevitable. It was not. The sinking of the Titanic was the result of a decision. One man, holding multiple warnings in hand, chose not to slow down. Every one of the 1,496 souls lost was downstream of that choice. It is a lesson not about icebergs, but about how we respond when the warnings are clear and the pressure to maintain speed is immense. If this story resonated with you, subscribe to the channel and comment below. At what moment in this timeline do you think the true point of no return was reached? We read every response.